A very healthy and promising new year to all of you. In the new year, I'm going to talk about briefly only, but then I have several things to talk about. I said you have to experience divinity. Mama, we do puja every time. We do Satyanarayan puja. We do puja to Lord Sun God. We do puja to Hanumanji. We do puja to Lord Shiva, Rudra puja. Every Monday, we go to temple. These things are not experiencing divinity. Experiencing divinity, you have got to go beyond certain things. I'll read one very interesting email in which the devotee says, Mama, I'm going beyond words. He said, his name is Mr. Jairam Ivaturi. I'm quoting from Ivaturi family, like I said in the email. The glory of this Ivaturis is beyond description. It's a very famous, illustrious family. The host belonged to that family of Ivaturis. And Mr. Jairam wrote to me, Mama, I participate in the puja, I listen to the experience you share. And just being there, seeing you and hearing you, living in India as I do, gives me a unique and a profound feeling. I felt a very positive, blessed experience stealing over me, my veins and my nerves. I also take part in the puja, but there is one difference. The spiritual experience I am going through is beyond words. Jairam Ivachuri writes, beyond words. I was thinking about beyond the stories. He is going beyond the devotees. He is trying to go beyond the spiritual experience. Why is he doing it? Anybody who is going beyond the stories that I am talking about, anybody going beyond the subtleties and the noble themes I am covering, anybody who is going beyond the devotees themselves, remember, I am not going to say you're guessing that I am going to say you're going to go beyond Sai. A famous book says, beyond Sai, there is nothing. Because beyond God, there is nothing. How do you go beyond, beneath the stories? And how do you go beyond the devotees? When I am talking about these devotees, several stories come to my mind. I was talking with a PhD devotee from Houston the other day. Dr. Geeta, who is doing in a leading world organization on which several scientific countries like Japan depend upon for her results, her experimentation. She aptly said after 1 hour and 50 minutes of talk about pure science, chemistry, she said, Mamaji, my AI is my Sai, my AI is my SAI. Very aptly said. Artificial intelligence, for me, it is only Sai. Sai gives me the artificial intelligence, and Sai controls the artificial intelligence world. And when he is controlling this world, he is controlling my work. He is controlling my world of research. My PhD comes from Sai. I'm using a lot of artificial intelligence, like, all of them. Chat Gemini and Chat GPT and Chat Perspicuity and Chat. There's so many things, 9 or 10 chats have come up. So, Dr. Geeta was saying this. And so aptly she said, I'll go to the story in Satcharita. I'll go all the way to the Tarakat family. In the Tarakat family, there is a famous film star. I've talked about her in one satsang. Anybody remember Nalini, right? Nalini Tarakat. In 1935, 1932, 3 movies became very popular. I'm not going to mention, I already mentioned all the 3 movies. And this lady is referred to as Tarabai Sadashiva Tarkad. They were living in Pune. This lady, without even asking for any discrete or non-discrete experience, direct or indirect experience, she never wanted anything. The child, Nalini, she was hardly 19 months old, 20 months old, she fell sick. When she fell sick, she just prayed to God, some God. Human beings don't really know what is God. A serial on the TV said, Lord Shiva doesn't have any looks, no shape. He's just as Brahmand as the blue sky. In fact, the whole sky is Lord Shiva. I've been telling lots of people, including my wife, there is no Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva can take any shape. Parvati Devi can take any shape. All the temples you are building are nothing but your imagination of how God looks, how strong God looks. Right? Hanumanji is portrayed as Mr. Universe. All this thing, six packs and all muscles. Hanumanji someday he lived, as proved by Shirdi Baba. But Lord Shiva didn't look like anything. He came to Madurai in the 15th century to conduct the marriage of himself with Parvati Devi, Devi Meenakshi. So 15th century saw Lord Shiva coming in some shape. These days you don't see Lord Shiva. Right? You pray to Lord Shiva in that form created by you, man, right? Men and women. It's pure imagination. But God doesn't have anything. Mrs. Manager and Tarkad, Ramachandra Atmaram Tarkad, they were all like Pratana Samajis. They didn't believe in any of the rupas or any of the shapes. Nothing. They all knew that there was a God, and therefore Nalini's mother, Tarabai, thought, okay, I'll pray to some God. This could be this saint in Shirdi Baba. You know how she came to know the first visit of Ramachandra Atmanam Tarkad with his wife Sita Devi. They went there, and then they just came when the child fell sick. She challenged Ramachandra Atmanam Tarkad when she was waxing eloquent about Shirdi Baba, all truth. Said, okay, when this child becomes all right in 48 hours, we will all go to Shirdi once again, and then I'll fall at his feet, and then I'll believe there is the Sadguru, there is the God in Shirdi Baba. That's what he said. And then that's what she said. And within 24 hours, got all right, and therefore they all headed for Shirdi, and then I fast forward to Shirdi. She's called a Mrs. Manager. Husband was a manager in a mill. Mrs. Manager writes very elaborately about Shirdi Baba. Look at that. I'm talking about beyond. What did I tell you? Beyond devotees and beyond devotion, right? Yeah, that's what I said. That's my beyond, beneath the stories and beyond the devotees. When she went, she could not judge Shirdi Baba. The first impression she got was beneath the eyes of Shirdi Baba. She writes in her book, the very first impression I got was looking at Shirdi Baba's eyes. You can hardly see Shirdi Baba for 10 seconds. She writes in her book, in the interview. You can't see for more than 10 seconds. If you see, you've got to lower your head and then fall at his feet. So this is the kind of person. When you are seeing him, when you are in the Dwarakamayi, she writes in her book that you lose yourself. You don't know who you are. Losing oneself in some person, you cannot. When you see somebody, your friend, in a cricket match or in a Telugu movie, you don't lose yourself. You may lose yourself in the Telugu movie, that's a different thing. She also writes, Shirdi Baba is a Satpurusha, and then he is in Sahaja Sthiti, also known as Sahaja Samadhi. This Sahaja Samadhi is not an ordinary thing. In Mantralayam Bhagavan, he went into, you know his name, right? Raghavendra Swamigal. Sri Raghavendra Swamigal went into live, Samadhi. Yeah, he was live and then people closed and then he breathed his last, or he is still alive. 800 years, he will still be living. Just like Shirdi Baba. This is called Satpurusha or Sahaja Samadhi, Sthiti, in which the presence will be very overwhelming. When you go to Shirdi, it will be very overwhelming if it is the first time. Second time you get used to it. It's like reading Satcharita. Second time, third time, fourth time, nth time you read, you get different, extremely unique meaning. Every chapter different to Narasimha Saraswati. I'm sorry, due to Narasimha Swamiji of Chennai. And then he looked very different to Sita Devi, that is Tarkar's wife, and then Mrs. Manager. You also write, he has got a very pervasive looks. What she means is, it looks like he is inside you already and he is studying you. Shirdi Baba is studying you very deeply. As if all your ideas, all your achievements, all your inner thoughts, he steals. That is called Sahaja Samadhi. When somebody can read your thoughts and tell you, and much worse, somebody can tell you what you are going to do today, what you are going to think tomorrow, you will consider him perfect Poggle, right? Poggleism. That is not Poggleism. Such people are very rare. How many people among humanity can see through the body and tell exactly what your heart is doing, what your pancreas is doing, what is your edgy A1C? 2 days ago, I was talking to a couple. I told the wife of the gentleman that your wife has got extraordinarily good health. Her LDL is so nice. Her LDL is probably 102, probably 98. LDL, bad cholesterol. And then her HDL is past 50, 51 or 52. And the husband was strangling through his, very fast, he was working through his cell phone. It was the most advanced iPhone probably he has. And then he said, both the numbers are correct, uncle. I said 51 or 52. And then I told her hemoglobin. I came to the husband, said, you got only one defect. Your total cholesterol is slightly off. You have to reduce it by at least 40, 45 in 1 year. And then also your A1C number is past 6, maybe 6.2. I just said maybe 6.2. Pat comes a reply from the cell phone. He said, I really don't remember, uncle, it is 6.2. I have been doing consistently with everybody, even on the phone. Your mitral valve is not working, I told a devotee from Hyderabad. From India. India is Hyderabad to me. Hyderabad is India to me. Synonymous. Go and see a cardiologist. The cardiologist was seen and then he said the same thing. He didn't even repeat the English. He didn't even forget. The same sentence he said. That devotee has said, the devotee's son came to me and said, Mama, I have one question. How do you do all these things, seeing and reading your thoughts? I told, from the last night, ever since you got this information from Hyderabad, you have been thinking, who is this uncle? And also, when I read the thoughts, when I see the future, you are going beyond. There is a Siddhi, Baba, if he has given you, if Shiva has got the Siddhi, either Shiva, they can go beyond the future. They can get past Shirdi Baba's Siddhi. You can't get past Shirdi Sai or Narasimha Saraswati or Shripad Shivallabha or Sumati Maharani. You can't do that. Somewhere you will stop and then the life ends. Because these are all people, these are all Sadgurus who have got boundaries. It is not, it's all different names. It's not the physical boundary of a country. Mrs. Manager usually is very, very curious. And then during her first visit, she is walking. Shirdi in those days never had any electric lights. They're all bushy, they're all terrain is very tough, they're all mud. Even during night, after 6, 7 p.m., it gets very dark and there were no lights. Petromax lights were there and the Dwarakamayi. That's all. There is no other light. Very rich people used to have lights, candle lights. She was walking and then suddenly she stopped. When she stopped, this story I often said, because you are going beyond, beneath the stories. Nobody went beneath the stories. Mrs. Manager, Tarabai Sadashiva Tarkad, it was her innate nature to go below the stories, beneath the stories, and beyond herself, that is beyond a devotee. She stopped. At the time she stopped, she didn't know why she stopped. It is pitch darkness, and then somebody brought a lamp in time to see a serpent. Just where she would have stepped on, there was a serpent there lying like it is dead. It was very much live. When the light came, it started moving. To this day, until she was living, she didn't know why she stopped. Which force stopped? And then she went to Dwarakamayi. When she went to Dwarakamayi, she had conjunctivitis. Baba was sitting there and she had conjunctivitis, and then she looked at Baba and then eyes were watering. She couldn't even see Shirdi Baba, 3 images of Baba. And then Baba just looked at her, and then the conjunctivitis, she became all right, and Baba's eyes started tearing. Mrs. Manager thought, this gentleman, this first time I'm coming here, he has taken the physiological condition, which doctors found it difficult to explain. She met with several doctors. Her husband was very popular. The brother-in-law was too popular. Became in Shirdi also very popular. They met with all the doctors. There was no explanation for these things. This is happening beneath the stories and beyond the devotion that you show. It is beyond himself, you will think. Shirdi Baba has done millions of miracles like this. Physically, she became all right. I wish Shirdi Baba was still living. You can go and meet him in Shirdi. Lo and behold, he is still living. He is living anywhere you want. For that, you got to go beyond. That is why I am talking about this. You got to go beyond the stories, beyond the devotion, beyond the devotees, and beneath the stories. That is when you will experience real divinity. Experiencing divinity is no simple thing. In one birth, you cannot. I bring you all to this wonderful lecture and a wonderful, wonderful puja here. This puja, if you do and go, just once a month, about 3 hours, maybe 4 hours, the benefit, fringe benefit, if you will, given by his HR department is, wonderful people here. The devotees who come here, they are select people. Somebody has seen Lord Shiva. Somebody wakes up at 4 o'clock and does Rudra Puja. Somebody is doing every year Kalasa Puja, Sahasra Kalasa Puja for Shiva in this home, at this very place. Am I right? That is why I wrote in the email, they are trying to go beyond, beneath devotion, beneath the stories. These stories are nothing for Sri Veerabhadra Rao Ivachuri. He knows all these things. He is very much live to the worldly issues that his family is going through. Issues, if any, there are no issues. If issues come, Shirdi Baba removes them. Mrs. Manager strongly believed in these things. His mother also strongly believed. Srimati Padmavati Devi also believed from Visakhapatnam. She believed. If you want to see her picture, you go to that school where she was a teacher. He will give you the address of that naval shipyard school or whatever. I remember, right? Naval. All right, thank you. I talk with her. Every night when the world becomes silent at about 12:05, 12:10, I talk with your mother. She is actually in this world. She has come back to this world. So she said, I'll meet with my son. With that, the talk completed last night. I'm very proud to say that I'm able to talk with a few others, like Baba Pati. Pati is grandmother. Baba grandmother. Baba supposedly Baba's mother in the previous incarnation. I talked with her. Me and my wife have seen her in person and talked to her. She had a very special, very wonderful, dedicated heart where I could live for some time, and then she passed away. She could create from Shirdi Baba a beautiful spear, a veil with my name under his statue, idol, that is still there with me. What these things indicate is, Baba has to choose you. When you are born, Baba has to choose you, determine your destiny. This destiny, what kind of destiny you have, will decide whether you have the ability to go beneath the stories and beyond the devotees. One story of Mrs. Manager. Mrs. Manager, they have written books. She was sitting in the Dwarakamayi near Shirdi Baba. When you go to Shirdi Baba's mandir, when he was living, Shirdi Baba was living, in physical body with geographical limits. Anybody can go up the 3 steps and sit with him. He doesn't object. When there is a Ram Navami, you can't even go near the Sabha Mandap. Other days, when there are only 50, 100 devotees, you can go clamber up and then you can sit there. She was sitting there. Mrs. Manager was sitting there, Tarabai. When she was sitting there, devotees go there and come up, and then he was looking at this power. She was looking at Shirdi Baba. When a person came, he was clambering up, walking very, very slowly. He was wearing very dirty clothes. And he was also emanating very filthy, foul stench. When he was passing just beyond, by about 1 foot, 2 feet away from Mrs. Manager, the stench was impossible to bear, and therefore she was thinking, oh, how I wish I get rid of him. He slowly clambered. He doesn't have any strength in his legs or hands. His hands was holding a small packet, a very small packet. We don't know what it is. He clambered, went to Dhuni straight, and from the Dhuni took a right turn and then fell down at Baba's feet. At the time, Mrs. Manager thought, oh, he is going to take so much of time. Even going up, he has taken about 10 minutes. So he is going to come back, and this fellow's stench is impossible to take. At that point, Shirdi Baba took his eyes away from the devotee who happens to have leprosy. It's a leper devotee referred in the Satcharita. He moved his eyes, and then Baba looked at a very stern look at Tarabai, Mrs. Tarabai, and then it was a piercing look. Shirdi Baba, if you have seen, it looks are very piercing, very divine. It has depth. It is eighth dimension look. Some of you may not know you have only 3 dimensions in the world. I have done a lot of research on the 8th dimension. People who are advanced, gone beyond all the 3 levels of, subtle form, gross form, subtle form, and then mental energy. If you come, you will go to 7 and 8. If you cross 7, you become God. Meher Baba did a lot of research. He has a postdoc on these things, and scriptures also talk about that. So, Baba is looking at, and then he is blessing the devotee, and then he comes down, and then I wish, Mrs. Manager thinks, I wish he goes pretty fast. And then he goes there. When he goes there, hardly is out of the Sabha Mandap. Baba pulls some devotee and said, go and bring him back. He comes back. Long story short. How can I make long story short when it involves Shirdi Baba? To make a long story longer, he comes slowly, clambering up, takes 10 minutes to go up the 3 steps. You have 3 steps, and then goes to Dhuni, falls down again. Baba takes, talks to that man. What's in your hand? He opens up, there are 2 pedas. Raghumama's eyes are now dotting. There could be some pedas. He loves pedas. Baba loved pedas. Look at the similarity between professor and... Baba took one of the pedas and then threw it on to Mrs. Manager, said, eat it. She was pretty close. Now eat that stuff. A leper brings it in his hand on an aluminum wax paper or a street newspaper with mud on it. It's brought by a leper, and then he says, eat it. She cannot think, otherwise, Baba might burn her. Already she carried for 8.5 months a dead child in her womb, a dead baby. That story comes not today. And then Baba took the baby out, real story, took the baby after 8.5, her body became blue. She became a blue baby, and she herself told the nurse, midwife in those days, and the doctor, and other people around, her husband, how to remove the dead baby. Meticulously she told, and then the baby was taken out, nothing happened. And 8 months, she didn't suffer from anything. And therefore, she thought, I will eat, and then she starts eating. The other piece Baba takes and he starts eating it himself, and then blesses the man, and then he asks him to go. After seeing all these things, Mrs. Manager thinks, oh my God, when I recall all these things, the peda was brought by him. He knows the peda. She knows the peda, and then he's got bacterial infection, so many things. These are all from the worldly concept. In the worldly complex, there will be bacteria inside. If you read, you will get, you may need Mylanta, you may need Pepto-Bismol. A kind of Pepto-Bismol was there in Baba's days too, no Mylanta. She was wonderstruck, and then she thought Baba was teaching me a lesson through this Sahaja Sthiti, Sahaja Samadhi. And then her husband used to go and stand in front of the Dunimai. When he stands there, already the couple know that Shirdi Baba is more than God. And then at the time, he alone goes, she is in the Sabha Mandap, and then he goes with the servant. The servant is standing, the servant had a severe pain in the leg, below the knees, both the legs, he couldn't even walk. It came after they came to Shirdi. Baba is talking to some people, he is addressing, they are standing there. Tarkat Saab, Sadashiv Tarkat Saab and the servant. And then he is telling some devotee, oh my God, my legs are paining. My legs are severely paining, I can't even stand. I come all the way to Shirdi, I can't even do anything, he says. And then he looks at Sadashiv Tarkat. Tarkat knows it is the condition of my servant who has come. And the servant and Sadashiv Tarkat, they both do namaskar. And then he tells Sadashiv Tarkat, this can be overcome by the leaves. By the leaves near Lendi Bagh. You go to Lendi and then take a right turn on the Lendi. Baba used to have a special place there. So take a right and then there is a tree. And then people are asking, what kind of tree? Is it that leaf? How many leaves? All these worldly questions. He just stops all the questions. There is a korpad tree, korpad. That is a Hindi name, Marathi name, Sanskrit name, korpad tree, English name. Sorry, it could be a fig tree. Bring one leaf, cut it into two, burn it on a stove top or on a coal top, burn it, split it into two, and then apply it on your servant's knee where it is paining. The pain will go away. And then very soon, Sadashiv Tarkat and Mrs. Manager go and get everything done. They follow all the instructions, and the servant got all right within 2 hours. Just like one antihistamine. The tablet antihistamine was given to her. Her eyes have become the normal, beautiful eyes. Do you feel it? Yes. There are no more tears. She was tearing up, and the nose was slightly off. They were not normal when she met with me near the door in the first 5 minutes. It was given to her immediately. Is it true? She will sleep very well tonight. When Shirdi Baba gives, everything goes all right. It could be antihistamine. It is given with Udi. I had given Udi to somebody while in the car, before I came. So with the Udi hand, it was given to her. Actually given to her husband. Mr. Vishwanath should have lots of siddhis. He brought and gave it to his wife, and she is all right. We'll talk about his siddhis later. He's the person who 4 years ago he said, truth, this is the real truth. Very happily for him. He said, Mama, I really want to know more about you. All that you are doing, how is that possible? How do you read other people's thought? How do you cure things? How do you say that your T1, T2, T3 is in pain, the inner bone is turning? The chiropractor says the same thing. You wait for 2.5 months for the first appointment. Insurance you talk to several times, and $750 first consultation. Insurance coughs up another $2,000 to say that, oh, the inner bone is turning. What have you come to? $2,000 to know that this is turning? You go for solution. Shirdi Baba goes for solution. I just mentioned about the tears coming. I was actually thinking about her tears, Mrs. Manager and her tears, simultaneously. Mrs. Manager went on to enjoy so much. The whole family, and Nalini became one of the best actresses. The very first movie was a very big success. I was talking about English language with her, Vishwanath's, you know her, right? When I came here, Vishwanath's mother. When I came here, she suddenly started talking in English. I turned around to see who was talking with me. She was standing right in front of me, and she was talking indeed. And I said, did you learn English between last satsang and this satsang, or the Shiva Puja and this thing, about 3 months, right? She spoke very good English. We were talking about how nice she has learned. She told me how little English she knows. I know much less English than her, so she knows quite a lot of English. English turned around in my mind. That's a compliment to her, and look at the story. I was talking to an MD the other day in Houston. He said he was an MBBS student. He took me back to several years, maybe about 45 years ago. He was a student in, MBBS student in Bhubaneswar in Odisha. Now it's called Odisha, okay, Odisha. Bhubaneswar Medical College. And then he took me all the way to human physiology class. In those days, the textbook was written by Best and Taylor. I've seen the book, I read the book. In my days, I'm a very old man, right? About 55 years ago, I read Best and Taylor. My cousin brother was reading, was doing MBBS. I've seen Grey's Anatomy, not the TV portion, the real Grey's Anatomy, which is this big. My cousin brother used to, 2:30, he will read, he will feel very sleepy. Grey's Anatomy book and a small towel, he will sleep. Itna bada hai. The price in India in those days, 52 years ago, was 185 rupees in those days, Grey's Anatomy. Today, I don't know the price. Any pre-MD students, pre-medical students, do you know the price? He was talking to me about Bhubaneswar class. He went to the physiology class. Look what he told me. The professor said, toxic shock syndrome. We are talking about English, right? This is about English. Toxic shock syndrome. The socks you are wearing, okay? So my friend MD in Houston thought, okay, his professor is talking about socks. Watch this carefully. There's a lot of bacteria. If you don't change the socks every week, men are very busy. They change their dress also probably after 15 days once. But the sock needs to be changed. So the professor is talking about every day you got to change the socks. So the bacteria will grow, the bacteria will bite your legs, and then all the cells will fall off, and then there'll be deep wounds in the leg. That's what the professor is talking. He assumed everything. Instead of raising his hand, he could have done that. Probably he was afraid of his professor. So he went on eloquent on the toxic shock syndrome. That night, the professor, this student in Houston, who is an MD, super specialist in something in the medical world, he went and consulted Grace Best and Taylor, and then he said, toxic shock syndrome, SHOCK. When I was talking with you, such a fine English he was talking, I was remembered about this MD's humor. When you are able to understand this humor so well, when you are able to laugh at this humor, there are so many other things you are laughing. So many other things in life, like it happened in Satcharita. Mr. God, our friend Balaji Devam, and his Mrs. Srimati Chitra, right? Your name is Chitra. They will laugh about everything, but then when they go away, they become silent. They never talk about anything. I literally wonder whether they never send me emails he sent after my insistence he sent. So some people believe in absolute silence. What he perhaps doesn't know is such silent people can go beyond even stories. Silent people who live in absolute silence can go beneath the devotees and beyond the devotees. They can go beyond me when I'm lecturing. You can understand very well. That is the value of divine, experiencing divinity, which is silence. In silence alone, you can understand divinity. So I thought when I was preparing for this lecture 1 week ago, I thought of Mr. God. Wow, he's really good. So here afterwards, he will stop even that email. Mama, I want to live in total silence, absolute silence. So he's one person I have seen. But then communication is very important. Otherwise, communication even with God is important, right? If you see the serial of Shiva Shakti or Lord Shiva, Parvati Devi fighting with Lord Shiva, right? When Miss Ganga comes and interferes with their married life, that scene alone is running for 2 days, 48 hours. If I am not mistaken, refer to my wife. The big argument Parvati has, Shiva doesn't have an answer. Parvati Devi got the power from only Lord Shiva. But then she is arguing, yesterday's episode. I was walking through the TV, I suddenly said, what's the divine voice arguing with Lord Shiva? No wonder people argue with me. I'm not Lord Shiva. I have his name. The next story will be, he has got first experience. You have got first experience with Lord Shiva because you have the 4 a.m., 4:30 a.m. you are chanting that mantra, very powerful mantra, right? So don't worry, your wife might argue with you sometimes. The cat is out of the bag. That's also English. You ask him, if you don't know, the rat is out of the bag, the cat is also out of the bag, chasing each other. Okay. Shama was a very real devotee. Shama was a very nice devotee. Once he came all the way to Dwarakamayi. He always sits near Dwarakamayi, he always sleeps next to Singh Malsapati, Shama, and the one more person, and Patil, and then one. He came there, and at that time, he is finding that Shirdi Baba tells, hey, Shama, he just does this, and then, hey, Shama, I got invitation to go to Nana Sahib Chand Dikshit's son's Upanayanam ceremony. And also another invitation, that is in Nagpur. And then another invitation from Nana Chandorkar's son's wedding, Babu, elder son Babu's wedding at Gwalior. So I got 2 invitations, I am going to send you. I don't have time to go there. I can be simultaneously at both the functions, but then I am going to send you. Therefore, Shama was very lucky. He says, oh, I am so lucky, I'll go. But then Baba says, he interjects saying, before you go to Gaya, Shama was thinking, okay, Banaras is very close by. Nagpur will go to Banaras. From Banaras, we will go to Gaya. Baba read this thought and then said, I'll go to Gaya, Banaras and Gaya, and come back before you do. Reading, and Shama, it's all very normal for Shama. Baba will always say his future. And therefore, he is getting ready. Madhavrao borrowed ₹100 from, and he started. On the way, he is finding another big time devotee, Appa Kote. You know Appa Kote Patil? So he meets with Appa Kote, and then he says, he hears, I'm going to Banaras, therefore he jumps in, and then he doesn't have any money in his pocket. Knowing this, Baba arranges 200 rupees, right, from Dikshit, 100 rupees from Nana Chandorkar, and then another person. Nana Chandorkar's Sambandhi, that is Nana Chandorkar's daughter-in-law's father, and his name I have, but I forgot, Jatar, the father of his daughter-in-law. So he gives another 100. 400 rupees he gets, and then they start Appa Kote. And when they go there, by the night time they go, and then by the time they reach, after this wedding and all that, they go all the way to, from Prayag, they go all the way to where? Gaya. And the train stops at about 2 a.m., and then they both are very, very afraid. And there is a panda. Pandas are none other than the temple priest. He comes there to invite. When he comes there to invite, this fellow is demurring, he doesn't talk. Just like Balaji Devam, he is just getting out of the train and just looks at Panda. And Panda says, what are you thinking? He says, do you have, whispers, do you have plague in the city right now? He says, there is no plague. If you don't believe me, go and inquire in the station. Nobody will tell you there is plague. This is the only area there is no plague. So saying, come on. So he gets into a jatka and then hurries into a big bungalow. Shama was very surprised that he has got a very big bungalow and he is taken inside with all the courtesies. This is not a normal story. He is given a huge room and then they come inside, all the 3 Appa Kote and then the Panda, the priest. He's a very rich fella. and therefore he is commanding lots of resources in Gaya, and his home is very, very big. And then when they sit down, right opposite wall, there is a picture of Shirdi Baba. He's wondering, what is this picture? He suddenly remembers Baba said, I'll go to Gaya and then come back. I'll be returning faster to Shirdi back. Before you, I'll return. He is just looking at that, and then he's crying. Tears swell up in his cheeks, and then he's crying. The Panda comes and says, Sir, you are again crying. What happened to you? There is no plague in this city. You can ask. At that point, Shama says, opens his mouth. Unlike Mr. God, he opens his mouth and says, no, I'm not. I'm looking at the picture. This picture, Baba told me just about 5 days ago that he will come here and then get back immediately. That picture shows he was already here and he has gotten back. At that point, Panda, the priest, opens up the long story. He says, I used to have all the satsang groups. Once 200 groups I collected for fundraising. I sent them all the way to Pandapuram, to a station close to Shirdi. When they went to Shirdi, I also joined because I wanted for a long time to see Shirdi, and therefore I went and I was a guest at a person's home. His name is Shama, and he is the one who gave me this picture. Little did Shama think that he was very happy. He was referring to me, Shama, and therefore the picture came from him. And then the story started playing in his mind, and then he told him that person is me only. I am the Shama, and then Appa Kote confirmed he is Shama. He is pretty close to Shirdi Baba. And therefore a lot of divine friendship between them. They started talking about that. And then he had 2 elephants. Shama was honored with the elephant. He was sitting there on the Pallaki, right? On the Pallaki, and then he was taken around the town and everybody was introduced to Shama. This was the treatment Baba gave Shama. Even after his samadhi, the treatment he got was extraordinarily good. Several princes and queens, kings called him in Jaipur and other places, and then treated him very well, extremely well. This story I told you because Madhavara was somebody who wanted to go beyond divinity. When you want to go beyond, you go, when he is doing that, you go behind the story of Shama. When you go behind the story of Shama, you will develop some energy and Shakti given by this uncle, and you will be going to go past Shama himself. If you go past that devotee, which is my title, you will understand not only Shama, you will understand Shirdi Baba, the architect of Shama. Shirdi Baba is your architect too, all of you sitting here. Therefore, you have got to go, I am indirectly saying, you have got to go past yourself. In your mind, you cannot be thinking about you. The basic name for that in the world is being selfless. Don't become selfish, become selfless, help your neighbor, understand others' problems. At the red light, you are stopping. There is a very healthy man. To look at him, he is very healthy. He is begging. Give him at least, $1, $2. $1 doesn't get you anything, right? Saravana Baba, $1, can you get anything? 1 sip of coffee? No. He will say, it's $3.99, sir. 1/3 of idli you will get for $5. That's the price in restaurants here, right? Do you think, when you are stopping in the red light, do you think that we have got to give $1 for these people? We have got several experiences. These people teach you a lot of things. One day I saw a very healthy man, as if he is going to gym, takes 8 eggs in the morning, 16 eggs in the afternoon for lunch, and then he is begging there. My daughter was also wondering, his back is turned, he's just going there to take something, and then he's fumbling to take something. I told my daughter, look at him. Appa is very healthy, and should we give $2 to him? I said, I'm giving him $5 because last 5 times I crossed, there was a green light, and then I had money in my hand. I couldn't give 5 days. Together, $5. And he turned at that point, he turned around. He was fumbling towards the car. I called him. He couldn't locate the car. You got the message, right? He was blind. Otherwise, he was so healthy, he could work in a Walmart. He'll get insurance. He'll get salary. So, you've got to understand what other people are. This is a simple case on the street. You got to understand, you got to go beyond yourself. That's what this Deshpande story, that's why it took 10-15 minutes to tell you, going to Gaya. Deshpande, Shama, had extremely wonderful experiences when he go to Saptashringi temple, right? The vows of his mother he fulfilled. I'm not getting into the story. If you learn something from Shama's story, it is this thing, go beyond yourself in your mind, and then search for whatever you are searching for. You are searching for God, right? In 1942, a family was also searching for God. Do you have time to go to 1942 and 1946? Do you have time? Okay, where is my watch? Oh, okay. It's 7:40, it's almost time. When I go to this particular story, I'll skip that story of the child, Raja Lakshmi. She is the daughter of, 9 years old, she is the daughter of T.R.S. Mani. You have to go past this. One person here in this congregation can go past this girl, past T.R.S. Mani. That name is very familiar to that devotee. You got to go past all these things, get close to Shirdi Baba, and in Shirdi is Samadhi Mandir. You got to go very deep beneath the statue and find Shirdi Baba's body there. He'll be still there because my limbs will speak to you, Baba said. This child, ever since she was born, she was dumb. Some of you know the story, right? Kumbakonam, 1942, 23rd March. 1942, 23rd March, Baba appeared in this dream. Because the daughter was very beautiful but dumb, she cannot talk. She didn't utter one word ever since she was born for 9 long years. The mother was suffering a lot. On that particular day, 23rd March 1942, Baba appeared in T.R.S. Mani's dream. He is smiling because that name is, it rings several bells, not one bell. All over the bells, all over his head. His car also, he liked T.R.S. Mani's family so much, his car carries in the license plate T.R.S. Mani. Oh, some other NRI Mani. Okay, I got it. I always call him T.R.S. Mani's son. Am I right? Am I right? Because this story is a wonderful story. Says, come to Shirdi. Listen to this. He goes to Shirdi. On the way, he doesn't know Hindi. Somebody told me, oh my Lord, he told me, I know Telugu, I know English and Telugu. Sometimes my parents are forcing me to talk in Telugu, I talk. My mother always talks in Hindi. Yeah, you don't know what she's talking. When she talks about you, she switches to Hindi. Because he doesn't know Hindi. Oh my Lord, he's listening to that. That is the story. He goes there. When he goes there, Dasganu Maharaj is standing. Dasganu passed away, attained Samadhi only, he crossed 100 years. 103, if I'm right. Correct me, anybody. 103 years he lived, and then his body is still there in where? Pandarpur. When you go to Pandarpur, you can go to Dasganu Maharaj's Samadhi and then see his Samadhi. I'm talking about Hey Lord, right? She knows him. When he goes there, Dasganu says, go around Shirdi Baba's Samadhi Mandir. He is standing there. Sri T.R.S. Mani is standing there. The girl is clapping her hands, and then he is going there. 7 rounds, she is just clapping, no word is coming out. And Dasganu personally nudges her, say Sai Baba, bolo, bolo Sai Baba. She is 8th round finishing, she is saying Sai Baba, bolo she doesn't say, because she doesn't know Hindi. Later on she became very eloquent, she spoke Hindi, English, Tamil. She said, bolo Sai Baba she said, and then she started talking. And then fast forward, they came to Kumbakonam. She was 9 years old. 1944, 2 years later, T.R.S. Mani, Sri T.R.S. Mani goes there. He takes the height of Rajalakshmi in silver. He makes a statue. And then another huge, what do you call the silver lamp? Kuttuvalaku, what is English? The beautiful lamp, the tanjore lamp. What's the English word? Oh, it's a lamp. Okay, as tall as Sita Devi, you have one? What's the English name? Anyway, it's a lamp, and then he takes a lamp. Yeah, takes a lamp as tall as Rajalakshmi, and then gives it. And then the shawl worth 500 rupees he gives in 1944. He comes back, Rajalakshmi, you cannot beat She didn't become a TV anchor, but then she did everything else. When this is the story of Rajalakshmi, a similar, more intriguing story appears in this Sai Sacharita, Sai Leela magazine. I'll just finish it and then stop and we'll do the puja. This is the parents. The name of the parents are Venkat and Sarita. They were living in Coimbatore. They were living in my city, for I know the location. They were living in a place called Ramnagar, where I studied in suburban high school. They were living there, and then there is a Ambal temple called Koniyamman in Coimbatore. Anybody from Coimbatore? Nobody? You're all not rich. That's a very big rich city. You've got to go back and plunder some riches from Coimbatore and come back. It is Vijayawada in Tamil Nadu. Vijayawada is a very rich city. Now everybody is laughing. I know Vijayawada, Mama. Coimbatore has got 127 textile mills. Vijayawada, probably 10. So there is a car festival at Koniyamman temple. And then Venkat and Sarita go there. While going there are thousands of people, lakhs of people are coming there. Coimbatore is full of very devoted people to the Ambal, Koniyamman. And they go there, and then while turning around, the child is missing. Her name is Jayalakshmi. She is just 5 years old. 9-year-old Rajalakshmi, I just told you several things I took away because there's no time. Jayalakshmi was only 5, and then Kogai. She was lost, and then the parents were crying. They went to every place, and then they were not even Shirdi Baba. Venkat's wife Sarita was a well-known Shirdi Baba devotee, and then Venkat was not. He knew that there was Shirdi Baba temples in Coimbatore. They couldn't find until about 9:30 p.m. and then they called the police. They said, we can know only tomorrow. Kalli pata kar lenge, aaj nahi, they said, and therefore tomorrow they cannot wait. The darling of a child, 5 years, Jayalakshmi is missing. They came, and then they came to a place. Rekha suggested, no, not Rekha, Sarita suggested, there is a temple close by, Ramnagar. There is a Ramar temple, Ramar Koil, and a Rama temple, and therefore there is a Shirdi Baba temple. We will go there. They went there when the temple was about to close at 11 p.m. They go there at 10:55. And then when they entered, they pray, they cry out their heart. They have flower, they have kumkum, they have udi, everything. Baba, get our child back. An old woman is coming through the door. They didn't see an old woman when they were entering the temple. There was not even a pujari there, priest. And the old woman comes there and said, why cry? Your child is safe. Your child is very safe, and have some faith in Shirdi Baba. Your child is safe. And then she walks back. She doesn't even talk anything. She walks back. And Sarita is looking at, and this fellow Venkat also is looking back at the door. She vanishes, disappears. So the child is safe. They both don't think about the woman anymore. Oh, Jayalakshmi is safe. My darling child is safe. They can't sleep. That night, they were waking up. They couldn't sleep until about 3:30. Sheer weariness. They were very tired and then mortally, wounded because the child is missing. They sleep for half an hour. 4 o'clock, they wake up. At about 3:45, they get a dream. Both of them get similar dreams. Remember Ramachandra Atmaram Tharkad and Jyotindra Ramachandra Tharkad having same dream about the Sandalwood Mandir. Long ago, 10 years ago, I told that story. They both get a similar dream, Sarita and Venkat. In the dream, Baba is calling them, come tomorrow for lunch to my abode. My abode. They say, where is my abode in the temple? Both of them are asking separately. They say, it is on my temple called Nagasai Mandir on Mettupalayam Road. These are all topography of Coimbatore, my city. So Nagasai Mandir is a very famous mandir where he took the form of a Nag, serpent. All right? Even today, this temple is impossible to enter. There's lakhs and lakhs of devotees coming. In my days, the temple used to have, at a time, probably 3 devotees, 5 devotees. But my mother told me the whole story about Shirdi Baba coming as a Nag. Come there at about 12 o'clock lunchtime and take your daughter back. And then he vanishes. The husband doesn't know Shirdi Baba. The wife says it looks like a fakir and he looks like Shirdi Baba. They wake up from 4 o'clock, 4 a.m., they didn't sleep. 5 and 6, the time is ticking away. Every second looks like a ticking bomb. And they can't sleep. It is 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock comes and then they do a puja to Shirdi Baba, 9 to 9:30, only 30 minutes. And then they take their car and then drive to Metupalayam Road. By 11:45 they reach. At 11:45 they don't know, they don't see anybody, no Shirdi Baba, no Jayalakshmi. They go there. This is the last story. You may listen and then simultaneously get ready. By 12 o'clock it's like there is a picture of Shirdi Baba with a nog behind the statue in the temple. And then on the side is a clock. And then when 12 strikes, Shirdi Baba and Jayalakshmi appear next to the statue. Real story. It appears and the parents come running and the child talks. Yesterday, where did you go? Mother talks. Mother asks, where did you go yesterday from the Ther festival? And then the daughter says, I just went on walking behind a very kind, noble man. In Tamil, she also knows some English. Kind man, old man, and then that kind man took me away, and then next thing I know is Gandhi Park. There is a Gandhi Park on the 70 feet road end. And then from the Gandhi Park, this temple is about 6 miles on the Metupalayam Road. So he took me, the old man took me to the park, and then he fed me very well, and then I slept on his lap. And the next I think I know is I am in the temple and you come and hug me. The police people also went with them and the police showed several things, and then when they also several deities in Coimbatore and nearby. She said, the Jayalakshmi, 5-year-old sweetie said, no, not this kid, not that, no, not this deity, not that god, not this god. Shirdi Baba's picture came as, that is the mama who took me. And then the Shirdi Baba picture resembled Coimbatore statue of Nagasai Mandir. There are very similar things. Rajalakshmi is no different from Jayalakshmi, 9 years and 5 years. There is no difference between Jayalakshmi. You get caught, you are lost. आप कई दफा खो जाते हैं. That is your life. I even sang a song. That day my throat was not good. Today, it's neither today. So there is a beautiful song in life. You got to come and meet with all these curved balls, right? These curved balls are thrown. Rajesh Khanna is telling Sharmila Tagore in Amar Prem, Pushpa, I hate tears. Listening to this, until then it was all in Hindi. Listening to that, the gentleman in front seat said, "Ye kya baat kar rahe hain?" He turned around. That was our first movie. I said, Rajesh Khanna, Angrezi mein baat karenge. He left for his home, believing me. That was my first movie in IIT Kanpur. In Kanpur Mall Road, Amar Prem was the first movie. My branch manager took us so that we will learn some Hindi. He learned his English. I learned my Hindi. My Hindi was, Pushpa, I hate tears. All right. So, Jayalakshmi, you got to read beyond. In that movie, the hero, Rajesh Khanna, is reading beyond the tears. If only you see the movie, you will understand. He is reading beyond Pushpaji. Very miserable life she is going through. Until the end, he is just helping her without even going anywhere near. The story spins around in Kolkata. It's a beautiful story. You can go and see. And then when the line comes, you will at least remember me. One line. You know the line, right? The wonderful humor is, that fellow, ye kya baat kar rahe hain? And then my branch manager told me the Hindi. Oh, Rajesh Khanna, aapse Angrezi mein baat karega. Then he left for home because, ye kya Angrezi, I can't understand. So far he was talking in Hindi. Then Rajesh Khanna, my branch manager R.S. Gupta and his wife, they were all laughing till, for 1 week they were laughing. Arey, Vishwanathan did a big magic in the theatre. So, go beyond. Let's do the puja. Go beyond, even when you are studying Shirdi Baba. I have several other stories, but then, this Kala Kalaya Namaha, Kala Chakram, it keeps on running. In Tirumular, Tamil's greatest Epicurean, one of the finest poems written by Tirumular, it talks about life. It says in life, one chapter, this time will always defeat you. Om Sri Sai Kala Kalaya Namaha. Kala Darpa Damanaya Namaha. You will in the puja you will see that. Om Sri Sai Kalaya Namaha means time you cannot conquer. Time will always defeat you. If you go beyond and beneath Shirdi Baba, understand Shirdi Baba, time will stop for you. You stop time. Me and Jyoti Garu are talking about these topics once a month. Saikini, we always talk, Professor. Srimati Jyoti takes enormous interest in what is this time, how do we conquer, who are all these 18 great Siddhars of Tamil Nadu. Tamil Nadu has got 18 Siddhars. They have qualities better than even gods and goddesses. That is called Siddha Purusha. Baba is called Siddha Purusha. That is why he has Sahaja Sthiti or Sahaja Samadhi. With that good word, thank you for coming and listening to some of the nuggets of wisdom shown in our scriptures. This one is about Shirdi Baba. We will do the Ashtotra Namavali when you are ready. Om Sri Sai Nadaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Sri Lakshmi Narayana Namaha. Om Sri Sai Krishna Rama Siva Maruti Ati Rupaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Sesha Sai Ne Namaha. Om Sri Sai Godavari Tata Shila Divasine Namaha. Om Sri Sai Bhakta Hridayalaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Sarva Hridayavasine Namaha. Om Sri Sai Buddhavasaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Buddha Bhavishya Pava Varjitaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Kalatitaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Kala Kalaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Kala Darpa Damanaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Mrityunjayaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Amrityaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Amartyaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Martya Abhaya Pradaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Jeevadaryaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Sarvadaraya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Bhaktavana Samarthaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Bhaktavana Pradiknyaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Annavastradaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Arogyakshemadaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Dhanamangalya Pradaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Dhanamangalya Pradaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Riddhi Siddhidaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Putra Mitra Kalatra Bandhudaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Yoga Shema Vahaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Apad Bandhavaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Marga Bandhave Namaha. Om Sri Sai Bhukti Mukti Swarga Pavargataya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Priyaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Priyaya Namaha. Priti Vardhanaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Antaryamine Namaha. Om Sri Sai Antaryamine Namaha. Om Sri Sai Sachidatmane Namaha. Om Sri Sai Nityanandaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Paramasugataya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Pavitradaya Namaha. Parameshwaraya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Paramatmane Namaha. Om Sri Sai Nyara Swarupine Namaha. Om Sri Sai Jagadapitreya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Parameshwaraya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Parameshwaraya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Paramatmane Namaha. Om Sri Sai Paramasugataya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Jnana Swarupine Namaha. Om Sri Sai Jagadapitreye Namaha. Bhaktanam Matru Datru Pitamahaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Bhakta Abhaya Pradaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Bhakta Paradinaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Saranagada Vatsalaya Namaha. Bhakti Sakti Pradaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Jnana Vairagyadaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Prema Pradaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Jnana Vairagyadaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Samshaya Hridaya Daurbalya Papa Karma Vasana Shayakaraya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Hridaya Granthi Bedagaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Karmadvamsine Namaha. Om Sri Sai Karmadvamsine Namaha. Sutta Sasvastidaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Gunadita Gunatmane Namaha. Om Sri Sai Ananta Kalyana Gunaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Amita Parakramaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Jaine Namaha. Om Sri Sai Jaine Namaha. Om Sri Sai Durdarsha Shobhaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Aparajitaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Trilekeshu Avigata Gataye Namaha. Om Sri Sai Asakya Rahidaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Sarvasakti Murtaye Namaha. Om Sri Sai Ashintaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Swarupa Sundaraya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Swarupa Sundaraya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Sulokshanaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Sulokshanaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Manovagatitaya Namaha. Bahirvavishwamurtaye Namaha. Om Sri Sai Arupavyktaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Ashintaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Sushmaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Sushmaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Sarvantaryamine Namaha. Manovagatitaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Prema Murtaye Namaha. Om Sri Sai Sulabhadurlabhaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Asahaya Sahayaya Namaha. Anadanada Dina Bandhave Namaha. Om Sri Sai Sarva Bharaptate Namaha. Om Sri Sai Akarmaneka Karma Sukarmine Namaha. Om Sri Sai Punya Shravana Kirtanaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Tirthaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Vasudevaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Saddam Gataye Namaha. Om Sri Sai Satparayanaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Loganadaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Bhavananagaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Amrutamsave Namaha. Om Sri Sai Amrut Amsave Namaha. Bhaskara Prabhaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Brahmacharya Tapasaryadi Suvrataya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Brahmacharya Tapasaryadi Suvrataya Namaha. Satya Dharma Parayanaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Siddha Shankalpaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Siddheshwaraya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Yogeshwaraya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Yogeshwaraya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Bhagavate Namaha. Bhaktavatsalaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Satpurushaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Satpurushaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Satyadattva Bodhagaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Kamadi Sadvairidvamsine Namaha. Abhedanandanubhava Pradaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Samasarvamada Sammataya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Sri Sai Venkatesa Ramanaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Sarvavid Sarvato Mukaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Atpudananda Charyaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Prabhannarthi Haraya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Samsara Sarvadukka Shayakaraya Namaha. Samsara Sarvadukka Shayakaraya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Sarvantar Bahisidaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Samarasa Shanmargastapanaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Sri Samartha Sadguru Sai Nadaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Sai Nadaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Sri Anantakoti Brahmanda Nayaga Rajadiraja Yogiraja Parabrahma Sri Sachidananda Sadguru Sainath Maharaj Ki Jai. Sri Sainath Maharaj Ki Jai. What looks like a yawn is 1 minute. And your silent prayer was heard by Shirdi Baba, I assure you. It was heard by me, each and every one of you, and heard by Shirdi Baba. Now let's do the Aarti before we disperse for the Prasad.
Shri Sai Namo Namaha. Jai Jai Sai Namo Namaha. Sadguru Sai Namo Namaha. Om Sai Namo Namaha. Shri Sai Namo Namaha. Jai Jai Sai Namo Namaha. Sadguru Sai Namo Namaha.
Om Sai Namo Namaha. साई नमो नमः।
ॐ साई नमो नमः। श्री साई नमो नमः। जय जय साई नमो नमः। सद्गुरु साई नमो नमः।
ॐ साई नमो नमः। श्री साई नमो नमः। जय जय साई नमो नमः। सद्गुरु साई नमो नमः।
साई नमो नमः। श्री साई नमो नमः। जय जय साई नमो